What a game, what a game, what a game. That was one to be proud of if you are a Warriors fan. A huge win, in my opinion. Huge win over the Brooklyn Nets in Brooklyn, aka Chase Center. Because every time the Warriors play in Brooklyn, KD there, KD not there, Steph's getting MVP chance. It might as well just be Chase Center's extension. Warriors winning 109-98. Quick recap of the game. No Andrew Wiggins, obviously with the sprained foot. Steve Kerr said before the game he should be back soon, day to day. Just kind of precautionary, understandable. Trace Jackson Davis and Corey Joseph got DNPs tonight. Corey Joseph, this is his third straight DNP. If you hate Corey Joseph and you've been mad at Steve Kerr for playing Corey Joseph, you're probably very happy. I'd love to see it too. Loved seeing Lester out there, and we will get into all that. Trace did not play in this game. People are probably mad about that. However, given Brooklyn's roster where Nick Claxton's really their only center, I don't think him playing was going to change much. I think Steve Kerr made the right decision to stay small most of the game, and it didn't just extend to Trace. Kevon Looney only played 14 minutes, I think, and Dario only played like 4. So there wasn't much playing time there for any of the centers at all. So they ultimately stayed small. So Trace didn't play. Corey Joseph didn't play. This game, man, probably the best effort of defense, rebounding, taking the right shots, just doing everything we've been begging the team to do. And it started off ugly. It really did. There was like 8 turnovers, I think, in the first like quarter and a half for the Warriors. Just very ugly basketball, chucking a ton of threes. Just, it was terrible. And then I don't know what happened, but the switch flipped and everybody just started playing out of their minds on both ends of the floor, just making everything happen, making good passes, getting to the rim a ton. The Warriors season high 72 points in the paint, only made 4 threes in this game and only took 22. Now, if you watched the Hawks game that the Warriors played the other day, Steph alone took 23 threes in that game. So they only took 22. That is not a lot for the Warriors, who typically shoot the most threes in the league, if not top 3. Huge game there. Defensively, absolutely superb. Just everyone playing. And this was a game where all the young guys that were able to play, again, outside of Trace, were in that game. And they held Mikal Bridges to 13 points, Cam Thomas to 18 points, and a collective 9 of 36 shooting between the two of them, both of which had been on an absolute tear for the Nets, who've won, I think, 4 out of 5 going into this game. A lot had to do with Jonathan Kuminga. Lester Quinones did a good job, and a lot had to do with just team defense. Draymond was playing out of his mind. You know, I just absolutely loved how well we played defensively and how hard everybody played. You know, the effort has been there for the most part, but there have just been so many blown switches, so many just, Draymond was pissed in the middle of the game because he had a super hard closeout in the corner and nobody came or not in the corner, sorry, at the rim, where he had to leave his man, who was Claxton, and had to go help at the rim. And just an absolutely great contest, misses the layup. And then who's right there, unguarded, nobody's in the vicinity of him. It's Nick Claxton, gets the rebound and gets an easy putback dunk. And Draymond was pissed and just like walked down the court and came out of the game and was like, I can't do it. And after that point, that's when the entire team just became a great defensive team. I don't know what happened, but for the first time, we looked like a cohesive defensive unit that played very hard, that forced a shitload of tough shots, really limiting all of their scorers. Aside from this like little 5-6 minute stretch where Royce O'Neal hit like 5 threes randomly, which, shocker, he always torches the Warriors, whether he's in a Nets uniform or a Jazz uniform. They kept that entire team at bay. Nick Claxton was the only one who really had a high percentage, but he ended up getting ejected off of a flagrant 2 where he clubbed Brandon Pajemski in the face, so didn't have to worry about him too much. But yeah, defensively, unbelievable. Rebounding, Jesus Christ. We just played the Hawks, and it was essentially the reverse against the Hawks. Granted, they tied rebounding total there, but the Hawks had like 16 offensive rebounds. Tonight, 16 offensive rebounds for the Warriors, and not only that, they out-rebounded the Brooklyn Nets 67-47. 67-47. Aside from Jonathan Kuminga, there really isn't an athlete that was playing in that game, like a true athlete. But they were just doing so much to box out. Obviously, Podziemski is such a hustle guy and tries to make all the right plays, get on the glass, box, do as much as he can to get offensive boards. Guy Santos was getting on the offensive glass. Lester was getting on the offensive. Everybody was just making such a concerted effort to get on the glass, extend possessions, get on the defensive glass, get into transition, and force the Nets, who, surprisingly, don't really play great defense, to have to play a lot of transition defense, and the Warriors just killed them in the paint. Having to make Nick Claxton run and all that. So, absolutely fantastic game on the glass for the Warriors. Two double-digit rebounding, three, I think, actually, double-digit rebounding performances tonight. Draymond with 10, Kuminga with 10, and 11 for Podziemski. Just unbelievable. And then, like I said earlier, Steph Curry getting MVP chance. He had 29 points tonight on 50% shooting. Always puts on a show in Brooklyn, and the fans love it there. Again, might as well just be Chase Center. Poor for the Nets players, or poor night for the Nets players, because every time that man comes to town, it's like you're playing against your own people. It has to suck. But, Raiders fans know, A's fans are likely to know if they go to Vegas. A lot of arenas that don't really have a true home crowd. It's not fun to play in. So, yeah. But here's where we get into the meat and potatoes. What the thumbnail is going to have and all that stuff. The youth movement. Steve Kerr has changed. I don't know what's happened, but 3 games ago, up until now, it's just been a completely different look for this Warriors team. Steve Kerr has leaned so heavily into the vets for so much of this season, and all of a sudden, he's just leaning full on into the young guys, and it's been great. It's been great to see. Combine for all the young guys. Again, no Trace Jackson Davis tonight, but Kuminga played. Podziemski, Moses Moody's back after the calf sprain. Lester Quinones and Guy Santos all got in this game and played significant minutes. All 5 of them had a combined defensive rating of 96.3. All of them. Combined 96.3 defensive rating. Mind you, every single one of them had a positive plus-minus in this game tonight. Jonathan Kuminga, 33 minutes, 28 points, 10 boards, 3 assists, 50% from the field, 10 of 12 from the free throw line. Again, so happy how much he's playing through contact, getting himself to the free throw line, taking advantage of his size, using the post to his advantage. It was just such a problem for him early on in the season in the last couple years, and just all of a sudden in the last month, he's figured out how to utilize his body in the post, and he's been incredible. Also had a steal and a block. Again, I criticized him heavily for his defense in the last game against the Hawks, where he was just getting torched by everyone. Everyone wanted a piece of Jonathan Kuminga. Tonight, he clamped everyone he saw. He played fantastic defense. Again, that's just the inconsistency of young players in general. But this is the flashes. These are the flashes of Jonathan defensively and on the glass and the playmaking and getting to the line where it's like, man, if he can just do that on a nightly basis, he's going to be one of the best players in the league. You know what I mean? He's that good. He's that much of a game changer when everything's clicking for him. Didn't even have to shoot a 3 tonight. Didn't even have to, and he still dropped 28 on 50% shooting, 10 of 12 from the line. Not 1 3 taken. And, congratulations to him, he passed Gilbert Arenas as the youngest player in Warriors history to surpass 2,000 points. So, that's awesome to see, history being made. Not a shock at all. If Jonathan Kuminga remains a Warrior, he's going to be breaking a lot of records. I can already see that happening. Next up, Brandon Podziemski. Probably been a top 5 Warrior this season. Hard to really argue that. 38 minutes, 15 points, 11 boards, 3 assists with 0 turnovers. Again, in the last 3 games, obviously he had the big 14 assist night in Memphis. He has 22 to 0 assist to turnover ratio in the last 3 games. 22 to 0. You know, I said earlier in the season, I'm not mad at all if you guys trade Chris Paul and just throw Brandon Podziemski as the backup point guard. Like, you can't tell me Podziemski's not been a fantastic playmaker. He's so good and just makes all the right plays, you know? And he doesn't force shots. He gets to the rim. He tries to take smart shots only. He's not chucking threes all the time. He just takes the right shots. And he was 3 of 4 from the free throw line. As a guy who's kind of struggled, doesn't really have a shooting form for the free throw line. He kind of just takes his normal shots. A lot of players shoot differently at the free throw line. Kind of have a little slower react, all that stuff. He doesn't really have a legit form, it feels like, so he'll work on that. I got no doubt in my mind that he'll get better at the free throw line. But tonight, 3 of 4. And, again, congratulations. Another little piece of stat, I guess. So cool. Tied Victor Wembanyama for consecutive double-doubles at 4 games now. So, whether it's rebounding, whether it's playmaking, he's been everywhere, just making things happen. He's such a toolsy player. And Bob Fitzgerald and Kalena Azubuike made it, or brought it up pretty perfectly. 1 through 3, where can you really even classify him? Because he just does a little bit of everything. So you can we always, talk about Steve Kerr with those 3-guard lineups, but it's like Brandon Podziemski, even though in general he's not the best defensively, he still plays so hard, gets on the glass, makes the right plays, and knows how to score, to where it's like, there are lineups where Brandon Podziemski at the 3 isn't that crazy. It really isn't. And he's great at taking charges. He knows how to draw contact from other guys as a defender, so Brandon's just been fantastic. He's such a just unique player, and I know Steph was kind of laughing at him for comparing himself to Draymond, but he really feels like the guard version of Draymond. He really does. I've loved seeing Podziemski so far this season. He's been fantastic. Everything that I hoped he would be, he's been. So awesome to see there. Moses Moody, like I said, first game back from that calf strain that he had. Played 15 minutes, 4 points, an assist, and a block. Fantastic defense for Moses all night. Didn't do all that much box score-wise, but he was a great defender. He did a lot on a couple of these big runs that this group had out there. Loved seeing him back. Hopefully continues to get some more minutes. And, just seeing Lester and Gee get out there and get some more minutes, I really hope Moses can take advantage of this time. And, hey, they won tonight, so, let's say Wiggins doesn't play tomorrow. If the Warriors win again and the defense is looking better and better, Wiggins' trade value has probably gone back up a little bit. Maybe not that much, but, with the deadline approaching, if Wiggins gets moved, I'm just saying. Tonight was just awesome. I'm very excited with what I saw, just seeing all the young players kind of put it together. Which I don't expect every night. Again, young guys are going to be inconsistent, but this is what it can look like when the Warriors as a group just play good basketball. Draymond talked about it on his podcast the other day after that Hawks game, where it was like they're doing a lot of bad things, like small bad things, but they do a ton of them. And so it accumulates during the game. And, this was a clutch game. And Klay Thompson didn't even play he got benched in the fourth quarter at 7.5 minutes and didn't see the floor again. The Warriors stayed Steph, Draymond, Kuminga, Podziemski, and I think it was Guy Santos out there with them. They stayed small, they stayed young, and ended up holding on to the game and winning in clutch time again. So it's been awesome to see, and they had 8 turnovers in that first quarter, and spanning into the second quarter, but then only finished the game with 13. So, again, they're just limiting the mistakes. They're playing better as a unit. The confidence is growing. That Hawks game sucked to see. Steph had such a great game offensively, but they were completely outclassed size-wise. and just met with the heater by DeJounte Murray in that final stretch of the game. But this one here, this felt like probably the best win this team has had this season. And every year we say that a ton, but it really felt like it. It really felt like it. Down Andrew Wiggins, still down Chris Paul. Those are two pretty important players on this team. And the Warriors were able to use Guy Santos and Lester Quinones out there and really put a good game together. Playing great defense, moving the ball, not turning it over too much, getting on the glass a ton. It was just awesome to see. Lester Quinones, 24 minutes, 3 points, 7 boards, 2 assists, and 2 steals. Not a great scoring night for Quinones, who's been pretty solid offensively in his time so far. 1 of 7 from the field. However, again, getting on the offensive glass, getting on the glass in general, not forcing shots, playing good defense, getting steals, drawing charges. Lester has been fantastic. I've loved seeing him out there. He's played so well. And I hope that he can kind of play the rest of this season over Corey Joseph. I just think it benefits the Warriors in the long run. But also, I think Quinones is just doing more. I like Corey Joseph. I think Corey Joseph is a solid player. But at this point, I think Quinones is probably more impactful on the floor overall and seems to have more offensive confidence. Guy Santos. I talked about Guy Santos a ton in the last 2 years. Again, you guys can't see my videos from last season, but I talked about him a ton. Very intriguing player, Brazilian Luka. Love seeing him out there. 17 minutes tonight, 9 points, 5 boards, a steal, 2 blocks, and here's my favorite stat. The craziest thing I've seen from a young guy on this team. In his 17 minutes, highest on the team, Guy Santos had an offensive rating of 144.7. 144.7 in 17 minutes. Steph, I think, or Draymond was the closest at like 122 or something like that. That's how good Guy Santos can be. I know offensive rating and defensive rating are kind of team things, but Guy Santos is just a very high IQ player. He's smart. He doesn't make these big mistakes. He doesn't take bad shots. He's very much like Podziemski, where he's just doing the right thing. He's getting into the right position. He had a couple instances where, one of them, I think, he set a screen and it was one of those that you see, like Draymond set the screen and then dive in, and then Steph throws it over the top. Guy didn't read that. That was the first time, and then for the rest of the game, anytime that happened, he didn't miss it. And, he read it every single time. So Guy Santos has been fantastic. He did have like a 116 defensive rating. He's a little bit slow for his size at 6'8". But overall, man, can't be mad that this dude, who hasn't played a lick of basketball for the Warriors, A team essentially, is coming in and giving you 9-5, a steal, and 2 blocks, and being probably your best offensive little weapon there, or weapon I say, but more so like attachment, right? But yeah, man, the youth movement. And they were responsible for that biggest run that the Warriors had in the third quarter, where they outscored, or they went on a 32-20, or they outscored the Nets 32-21 in that third quarter. Just played fantastic basketball. The young guys really showed out today. And moving forward, I hope to see more of them playing bigger minutes. I think Kuminga has obviously earned it. Podziemski has obviously earned it. Moses, and I like Moses a lot. I think he's got a lot of strengths, but he's got some, issues that I have with his confidence on the floor, his ability to create for himself, and defensive consistency. But at this point, just play him, just do it. Yeah, let him get through the mistakes, build some confidence out there. You might as well. Lester has been great. Guy has been great in his minutes. So really, really happy with the youth movement that we've seen. And that leads into the final topic. Has Steve Kerr turned a corner? Genuinely, has Steve Kerr turned a corner? All for the last 3 years, the whole fan base has been ripping Steve Kerr because he just has not really played the young guys. And finally, it feels like he's leaning in. Not only is he playing them, he's leaning into them. He's closing with them. He's playing them in big minutes, big moments. Again, Corey Joseph, 3 straight DNPs. Lester taking over those minutes. Clay didn't see the floor past the 7.5-minute mark in that fourth quarter. Guy was playing over him. Jonathan Kuminga has 9 straight games of 20+% usage rate. He's putting the ball in Kuminga's hands a lot more. Not only is he playing more, but he's getting to do a lot more. And Guy Santos has been playing a ton since Dario Saric has been out with the flu. And now, of course, Wiggins is out with a sprained foot. So Guy Santos has looked solid for this team. He might continue to play as well. Overall, I think Steve Kerr has just been, he's finally been able to, I don't want to say like, humble himself or anything, because that's not what I'm looking for, but like, he's changed what needs to happen. He's expanding what it means to be a coach, for himself at least, as a veterans coach. He's expanding what it means to be that guy. So seeing the young guys come out there, man, and really just put a great game together and ultimately win this thing for the Warriors by themselves was just awesome. As you notice, I didn't talk too much about Steph's game or Draymond's game or Clay, who continues to just not be that great. Because honestly, I don't really want to focus on them. I think the young guys just absolutely killed it and deserve all the praise for this one. Because it not only spans this game, but the last few. And obviously Jonathan over the last few weeks, and Pajemski the entire season, really. So just super happy, super excited with how well they're playing. Great win here. Again, 109-98 victory in Brooklyn against the Nets. And now I think they go to Philly. Who, of course, Joel Embiid, like I said in a recent video, Joel Embiid out with that knee, with the meniscus tear. So going to be an interesting matchup. The Philly's a little bit small unless they decide to play Mo Bamba. I don't know if he's played since Embiid's been out. I know Paul Reed's been filling in for him. Tyrese Maxey also recently dropped 50, so that's going to be a pretty big game for the Warriors here. But if they're playing anything like they did tonight, I really like my chances, or like our chances against Philly. So super excited. Let me know what you think. Are you guys hyped too? Warriors, they're looking good, man. Trade deadline looming, a couple days away on Thursday. So let me know what you think. If you like the video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the podcast. I uploaded a new clip today going over the Lakers and some things they could potentially do. Some fun little, potentially getting off of LeBron's contract, or AD. Obviously, LeBron will be a free agent. Technically, I don't think he's going back. So I expect LeBron to be a free agent, but he does have an option. So new video up about the Lakers. If you want to check that out, please do. Check out the podcast playlist in general. Interesting. We talk about a lot of basketball stuff. All things basketball. So go check that out. And I'll be uploading another clip tomorrow. Warriors, next game they play, that'll be uploaded. And I'm probably going to be making a Klay Thompson video soon, so be on the lookout for that. Anyways, have a good rest of your week. See ya. Peace.